everyone, it's Julie here and Lulu. Thank you for joining us. Please excuse the desk behind me. I had to temporarily move it because we're installing a new ceiling fan. But anyway, this video is a response to Amy at Strength Reversed. She had this really lighthearted and fun video that she did where she talked about things that brought her tarot happiness. So a lot of the things she said really resonated with me, as I'm sure they did everyone else who happened to watch that video. You should definitely check it out. But you know, of course, it made me think of some additional things that just make me happy when it comes to tarot. So the first thing I will mention is riffle shuffling and bridging. And I know this is blasphemy to a number of tarot card slingers who think that that's a shitty thing to do to your cards, but I love the feel of it. I love the sound of it. I feel like it gives me the best shuffle. And even though I love smaller decks and like mini decks because it fits my hand better, I have small hands, it's hard for me to riffle shuffle them. And so actually I've been kind of abstaining from buying mini decks, and when I think of doing a deck mod, I do think about whether that will that will hinder my riffle shuffling abilities. So I can't help it. I just love riffle shuffling and bridging. But as I mentioned, deck mods, that is a second thing that brings me happiness. Deck mods that go right. And I think I've only had one deck mod where I destroyed the deck. And luckily it was a mass market deck, so it wasn't too bad. And I think that's kind of par for the course when you try deck mods, but it's a wonderful way to bond with the deck, to get to know the deck better, and to make the deck look better. And you know, even something as simple as edging a deck. So for instance, you know, this month I'm working with the Steampunk Tarot, and all I did was edge it in black, and it just makes me happy to see how nice it looks this way. It just looks more, I don't know, polished and more expensive than it was, and it makes the cardstock look better than it is. So deck mods, number 2. The third thing that brings me tarot happiness is the deck interview spread. It is by far my favorite spread. I don't do a whole lot of structured spreads. I've been getting more into them lately, but on the whole, my go-to is more of like the freestyle form of spread. But I do love to do a deck interview spread whenever I get a new deck, or even if it's been a while since I've worked with a deck. If I've done an interview spread with it before, it doesn't stop me from doing yet another interview spread with it again. And the spread that I usually use is one that Katie Flowers created. Next is daily draws. I love starting off my day with a daily draw. I get to pick up my tarot deck and I get to just really kind of sit and meditate and just focus on this kind of one thing for this one moment and really take away what's hopefully a helpful message for that day. The fifth thing that brings me tarot happiness is giving readings to other people. Because I am not a professional tarot reader, most of the readings I do are for myself. And so it's a nice change of pace to be able to read for other people. And it's usually my friends or friends of friends, but it keeps me on my toes. It makes me feel like I'm helping them in some way. And luckily I have friends who don't abuse the fact that they have a friend who knows how to do tarot. So my experiences reading for other people have been really rewarding. The next thing that brings me tarot happiness is passing on decks that I don't use. Because I am the type of person who feels really guilty when I have a deck sitting on my shelf that I just neglect for whatever reason, I do gain joy from either selling the deck or gifting it to someone and knowing that that deck has found a new loving home and someone who will give it the attention it deserves. The seventh thing that brings me tarot happiness is pairing my tarot bags, reading cloths, and crystals with my tarot decks. And I would say that the tarot bags and reading cloths are a more recent development. I had never really cared about tarot bags. You know, they were just kind of a means to an end. If a tuck box, gave out, I would just quickly buy some cheap tarot bag online and not really care all that much. And, don't get me wrong, like these bags that I have, that I just kind of bought quickly, they're fine, they work, but I didn't really think anything of them. It was neither here nor there for me. And then Heather Carter made this lovely tarot bag for me, this lovely pouch that she crocheted specifically for my everyday witch, which was so sweet of her. And it fits perfectly. If you unwind the flap, it becomes like a little mini reading cloth. And Heather, if you're watching this, the reason it's missing the knot and the wrapping cord is one word: Luna. But luckily she didn't destroy the rest of the pouch. But this is why we can't have nice things. In any case, this was one of the first bags where I really did feel an attachment, and I also really appreciated like the quality, like the feel of it, the look of it, the fact that my deck feels very protected. So then along with this, I also discovered Sparx Creations, aka Peggy bags. I'm sure Peggy needs no introduction, but I never knew that tarot bags could be so nice, like with the different types of stitching patterns, and the fact that these bags, unlike my other cheaper bags, were lined, and it just felt like it protected my decks more. And she has all these cool patterns to choose from, so then kind of went down the rabbit hole of picking different patterns for my tarot decks. And so my recent purchases, this one right here, love this design. This I bought for my Tarot of a Moon Garden. And then this one right here, I have a feeling I know which deck I want this for, but you can never have too many extra tarot bags just in case, right? But there's this one. But in any case, so, and I also bought a reading cloth from Peggy. I've made my own reading cloths. I have found that I do like the look of, putting my spreads on a reading cloth now. And crystals, I love having crystals sit on top of my tarot decks. So for instance, this right here, this fluorite palmstone, this is for my everyday witch. It sits perfectly on my everyday witch. It looks like it was made for it. And then this peacock ore right here is perfect for my crystal unicorn tarot. And then as another example, I use this Botswana agate to sit on top of my sun and moon tarot. The eighth, I think we're on number 8. The 8th thing that brings me tarot happiness: catching new details in decks that I've used before. So for instance, again, I'm working with the Steampunk Tarot, and you know, it's only been a couple days of me using it, and with my daily draws and a spread that I've done, I've already been noticing details that I didn't see before. And so I always think that's fun and cool, and it just brings new life to working with a tarot deck. And then the final thing that brings me tarot happiness, number 9. I really should have thought of one more to make it like a even 10, but whatever. Final thing, showing Matt each new deck that I get. He is so gracious about sitting with me. Well, he doesn't have a choice. I make him sit with me as we go through looking at the cards in my new deck, and he's awesome about it. I think he appreciates the artwork, even though he doesn't know the meanings of the cards. And I find that he is more into my colorful decks than any other. So he really liked my Crystal Unicorn, and he liked my Dark Mansion tarot. He picked out Tarot of a Moon Garden because it was colorful. What else? He liked the Star Tarot too. He liked the Star Tarot. So again, he likes color. He likes color. Everyday Witch, he said it was just okay. I know that type of illustration isn't for everyone, and in the beginning it certainly wasn't for me, but so Everyday Witch he's just okay with. But and so it brings me happiness to share that with him. It also brings me happiness when he notices, like on TV or in a movie, that someone's using a tarot deck, and he'll point it out to me. Like just recently he was watching the movie Tombstone with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer on TV, and all of a sudden he calls me, he's like, Julie, they're using a tarot deck. And indeed they were. And I've seen that movie like I don't know how many times. So that was really cute and very endearing. I would love to hear what brings you tarot happiness. So drop a comment below or feel free to do your own VR. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you very soon. Take care.